Good morning. Good to see everyone virtually. So glad to be here. I'm Cindy Melton, Chair of the Commission in Teacher and Administrator Education, Certification, Licensure, and Development. I think we may need everybody to go ahead and mute their side. Thanks, folks. Kenny Goza is out today, by the way. I'm doing this teleconference from Clinton, Mississippi. The meeting of the commission is being held today, Friday, July 10th, 2020 at 10 o'clock a.m. pursuant to the Mississippi Code annotated section 2541.5 with commission members present via teleconference. The notice of this meeting included the date, time, place, and purpose of the meeting. An audio recording is being made of the meeting, and the minutes, of course, will be recorded as well. This meeting is being called to order at 10:01 a.m. Friday, July the 10th, 2020. We'll go through our roll call. We should not have to do this for every vote, but for this particular one, if you'll please let us know if you're here and where you're calling from, if you'll give us the city where you're currently located. Kenny Goza, Dr. Patrick Gray, William Hamilton.
William Hamilton, Oxford, Mississippi.
Thanks, William. Mary Hill Schuler.
Mary Hill Schuler, present, Bailey, Mississippi.
Thanks.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, Mary. John Howard. Is John with us this morning? Rilla Jones.
Rilla Jones, Corinth, Mississippi.
Hey, Rilla.
Hey, Sydney.
Dr. Burnell Kelly.
Burnell Kelly, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Well, that's a pretty background back there too.
Well, since I'm in California today.
It's a California state of mind.
That's it.
David Martin. David. Deborah Mays Jackson. Okay. Dr. McClelland.
Susan McClellan, present, Oxford, Mississippi, and hello to everyone.
Hey, Susan. Cindy Milton, I'm here in Clinton, Mississippi. Lisa Reeves Geist. Hey, Lisa, you're muted.
I got it. Yes, I have it. I'm present, Biloxi, Mississippi.
Thank you, Lisa. Rebecca Skinner Gray. Is Rebecca with us? How about Etta Taplin?
Etta Taplin, Ruth, Mississippi.
Thanks,
Tried
Etta.
to get in on the Zoom, can't get in.
Uh-oh. Corey Welch.
Corey's no longer a member, and so we're going to be filling his space. He's actually transitioned to Texas, and due to COVID, we didn't get the opportunity to wish him away and all that good stuff. So,
Oh, goodness.
yeah.
We're going to miss Corey.
Yep.
Thanks for letting us know.
Mhm.
Okay. How many members was that, Mrs. McGregor? Help me keep count of that.
I think that was 8, and we do have David Martin. He's on the line, but
we had 8 checking in, and if David's here, that makes 9.
Hey, David, are you with us this morning? David, if you're here, would you state your location? We haven't been able to hear you yet.
Yeah, people are falling off.
Okay, so we do have 8 with David. That would make 9. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, has anyone heard from David?
at the beginning of the call or the Zoom meeting, he did announce it himself. So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. We might need him for one of the items.
Okay.
All right.
As long as we have quorum. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Rebecca's trying to get in.
Perfect.
Wait,
just
she
need
says she's
quorum.
here. She says she's here.
Okay.
She can't hear on Zoom because she's on via phone. I don't know. So she's one of the numbers.
Okay. If anyone is having difficulty checking in verbally, if we can't hear you, you can't hear us. If you could use that chat feature, we'll at least know you're here and we can work with you through that.
She says she's on the Zoom but can't hear anything, but wait.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now.
Is that David?
I called back in. I did the same setting, but I called back in. It seems to be working. I heard y'all the whole time.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks. David,
I'm here in Brookhaven.
would you state your location?
Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Thanks, David. If anybody else jumps in, please let us know if you can get to a point where you can speak and hear on this.
The 2790804 is Rebecca. She can't hear on Zoom, but she's on the phone as well.
Okay. If she can call in on that line, maybe she can hear us. And would it be okay for her to chat her votes on there?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
If she states her name with that?
I don't know if she can do that via the phone. This is technical stuff.
Okay, Rebecca Gray is here.
She just said she's present in Iuka. She's texted.
Perfect. So that makes 10. That's awesome. I was about to ask if anybody had a good joke while we waited, so we can move ahead. For those of you who will be commission members who will be moving or making a motion or seconding a motion, if you will just go ahead and start with saying your name. This is Cindy, I moved to, or this is Melton, I second that. That will help us with all the minutes and the record keeping. So I think we're ready and away we go. We'll go ahead to item number 3. Approval of the minutes from our May 1st teleconference meeting of the Commission on Teacher and Administrator Education, Certification, Licensure, and Development. I would be happy to entertain a motion for approval, and please identify yourself for the record.
Ada Taplin.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Burnell
Mary
Kelly.
Hill. Okay.
Thank you, Burnell. There is a second. Any discussion? Okay, all of those in favor, please say aye and don't forget to unmute yourself. Aye.
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 Is there any opposition to the minutes? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have approval of.
Can we just pause for a second? Everyone, I just need you all, the vote needs to be audible. For those who are having trouble with the sound, if you can vote in the chat as well, we'll make sure that chat is part of the recording.
Erin, do you need me to go through the list of members?
I only heard a couple votes. So, I mean, we have 10 people on the call. It may be easier to just do roll call. I know it's going to take us some more time, but we need the votes to be audible or noted. And I really can't tell as people are muting. So,
okay. I'll go back to a roll call if y'all will just be patient as I scroll back and forth on this, but we should be able to do that. Item number 4 is the approval of the hearing subcommittee minutes from June 3rd. Those subcommittee members were Kenny Goza and Cindy Melton. With Kenny Goza being absent today, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 4. That's the approval of hearing subcommittee minutes from June the 10th. Subcommittee members present on June 10th were Rilla Jones, Mary Hill Schuler, and William Hamilton. Those were sent to you in the Dropbox email from Dr. Murphy. I will entertain a motion for approval. Please identify yourself for the record.
This is Rilla Jones. I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a
William
second?
Hamilton, a second.
Thank you, William. Is there any discussion? Okay, remember as we vote, only Rilla, Mary, and William will be voting on this particular item. All those in favor?
Rilla Jones.
William Hamilton, aye. Aye.
Mary Hill Schuler, aye.
Okay. There is no opposition with all three voting in favor, so that motion carries. Let's see, at this time, whoop, gotta fix my screen. Okay, give me just a sec. I'm trying to work from three screens here. Multitasking at its finest. There we go. Now we're at the adoption of the agenda because that motion carried. This time I'll entertain a motion for approval to adopt today's agenda. Please identify yourself for the record.
David Martin, motion we approve the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mary Hill Schuler, second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay. We'll do a roll call vote on this one. William Hamilton,
Aye.
Mary Hill Schuler,
Aye.
John Howard, Rilla Jones,
Aye.
Burnell Kelly,
Aye.
David Martin,
Aye.
Susan McClelland,
Aye.
Cindy Melton, aye. Lisa Reeds Geis,
Aye.
Rebecca Skinner Gray,
She's gonna have to vote in her chat.
Aye.
Oh, there we go.
we have that, and Etta
Okay.
Taplin.
Aye.
Okay. No opposition, that motion carries. Aaron, since everybody's able to do audibles, can we skip roll call?
As long as everyone knows to unmute.
Okay. We'll try not doing roll call. All right, the next item on the agenda are updates from the Mississippi Department of Ed. Dr. Murphy.
Thank you, Dr. Melton. And good morning to each of you. It's always good to hear and to see you. It is our hope that you guys are doing everything you can to stay safe during this time, and do know that we're praying continuously for you and your families for good health and safety in the days and weeks to come. I have but 3 updates, and I'd like to start with the first. It's in regard to our virtual alternate route fairs for aspiring teachers. Mrs. Cormack, Crystal Cormack, who serves as our Bureau Director for Talent Acquisition and Recruitment, she and our team will be hosting 3 meetings in collaboration with our educator preparation partners. And there will be 3 virtual alternate route fairs, and they'll be held on July 15th, July 22nd, and July 29th. We actually offered 275 slots for participants to engage in this process with us. And happy to note that we have about 300 plus registered for each of those dates that are set. And so we're planning additional sessions as we speak to accommodate those who are interested in actually joining our great profession. And so thank Ms. Cormack for that great idea that she had to host that, to get the information out to all those that are interested in education. And thank you to our educator prep partners for partnering with us to share information about your programming and what you have to offer for the most part to those candidates. The second update I have is with regard to our Mississippi Teacher of the Year and Administrator of the Year ceremony. As you know, each year in March, we host a ceremony where we honor those educators and administrators who are doing outstanding work throughout the state. And this year, because of COVID-19, we were not able to follow through on our plans to honor them at that annual ceremony. But we're happy to announce today, and we've sent out a press release on July 6th, but for those who haven't heard, we'll be hosting our first virtual Mississippi Teacher of the Year and Administrator of the Year ceremony. That ceremony will be held on Thursday, July 23rd at 4 p.m. I'll be sending information out to each of you to join us, and we hope that you can join us. And just for, and during that meeting, Dr. Carrie Wright, our State Superintendent of Education, will announce the winners of Teacher of the Year and Administrator of the Year. And so for your information, because each of you represent a congressional district in our state, one of the congressional districts, the finalists for Administrator of the Year are 1st Congressional District, Carrie Jo Sapp, Principal of Bramlett Elementary in Oxford School District. The 2nd Congressional District is Brenda Singleton, Principal of Inverness Elementary, Sunflower County Consolidated School District. 3rd Congressional District, Deborah Houghton, Principal of Mansdale Upper Elementary, Madison County School District. And then 4th Congressional District, Kiana Pendleton, Principal of Laurel Magnet School of the Arts, Laurel School District. And the finalists for Teacher of the Year are 1st Congressional District, Sarah Robinson. She's a 9th grade biology and pre-AP biology teacher at Oxford High School. And 2nd Congressional District, Mina Darnell, 11th grade honors mathematics teacher at Clinton High School. 3rd Congressional District, April Lang, 9th through 11th grade mathematics teacher at Forest High School. And the 4th Congressional District Teacher of the Year finalist is Benjamin Austin, serves as the 9th and 10th grade social studies teacher at Petal High School. My final and third update is with regard to enhancements to our educator licensure management system. Prior to July 1 of 2020, our application expiration date was a 30-day expiration date, and that meant that if the application expires before the candidate actually or the applicant gets their information in for licensure supporting documents, they'd have to complete an additional application, a new application that is. We've actually extended that date for 6 months, and so now applicants have 6 months to get all of their supporting documentation in instead of the 30-day period, and that started July 1, 2020. So with all new applications received July 1, 2020, those applications will receive an expiration date of 120 days from the date that we received the application. And so that means, again, they have that 6-month period to get any documentation that is required for the license type that they're requesting a license in. As it relates to document upload, candidates, as you know, I announced in, I guess, 2018, February 2019, not quite certain at this point, enhancements to the AIMS system. And so one of the enhancements was to allow candidates to begin uploading certain documentation directly into the correspondence section of their AIMS account instead of having to mail documents in to us. And so we've gotten several calls over the course of the past year or so after candidates upload documents. Some are not aware that we have to have an application accompany any document that we receive so that you can basically share with us what it is you want us to do with what we've received from you. And so just as a courtesy to those candidates, any document that's uploaded to their account, whether that be a transcript that's uploaded by a member of the licensure team or a document that's uploaded by the applicant, him or herself, then they'll receive that night, at about midnight, a courtesy email from us stating to them, a document has been uploaded to your account. If you haven't already, please fill out an application. These are not exact terms, but they'll receive an alert to let them know that we need an application. And if it was indeed a paper version of the application that they uploaded, the PDF version, to their account, we ask them to disregard. But just as a courtesy, we want them to know that some activity has occurred in that particular section, and to not delay processing what they're desiring to have as it relates to licensure. We're sending out a courtesy email, at midnight that night to let them know that we need additional information. The final update I'd like to share with you is with regard to individuals who may be really, really into serving our children to the point that they forget that they have a license that expires. And so we have a few candidates that don't really keep up with that. And so as a courtesy to those individuals, beginning July 1 of 2020, and so beyond that, every July 1st of each year, we'll send out an automatic email just letting the educator know that your license expires in 12 months. Please proceed with engaging in professional learning or completing coursework, credit hours for license renewal. And then we'll send one out in January, so 6 months out. And then we'll send another out in March, 3 months out. And then every week during the month of June, on Monday, just as a courtesy to them, to let them know that you don't allow your license to lapse for the most part. And so those are just a few enhancements that we've put in place as courtesy to those educators to ease the certification process. And those are my updates.
That sounds really helpful. I know I've heard from a lot of folks, oh, I just forgot. So that's wonderful. And it should help eliminate some of the excuses. I didn't know. So thank you for working on that.
Thank you.
I also hear the number of licenses is really good right now, those who have applied for a license. So I know y'all are staying plenty busy over there.
Oh, absolutely.
Dr. Burson, is there an alternate for the Elevate conference this year? Any ideas on that?
No, at this point, and Dr. Murphy may want to speak to this as well, but at this point, given where we are with COVID, I think we have determined that we would just wait and come back bigger and better next year.
Yeah, and Dr. Burson is correct. We're working in the office, and so we're kind of missing each other, so to speak. And so Crystal and I, Mrs. Cormack and I, we kind of tossed around the idea of maybe a virtual version of that, and that she was in attendance at a virtual conference this week. But there again, nothing is final at this point, but we just literally started the conversation, I think, on yesterday or the day before. So could possibly be virtual.
That's a tall order to fill. I was just curious. It's always so wonderful and such a great conference. So thank you all for doing the virtual Administrator and Teacher of the Year. That will be really nice. So,
thanks.
Awesome. Any questions from commission members for MDE on updates? Okay. At this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Murphy as I recuse myself for item number 8.
All right, sounds great. Item number 8 is up for discussion and or approval of Mississippi College's request to modify its existing physical education K-12 program in kinesiology by utilizing KIN 386 adapted physical education as a special education course in the physical education K-12 curriculum for teacher certification. Dr. Chris Washam is here to answer any questions that you may have, but I'm going to hand it off initially to Dr. Deborah Burson, who will conduct a brief presentation of the item. And again, Dr. Washam is here to answer any questions that she's not able to answer.
Yes, just as Dr. Murphy said, I'm here just to present the item. As you know, we came to you in May with several items from our programs for modifications and new programs to be implemented this fall. Unfortunately, we left 4 items off in May, and that's why we're coming to you today in July. We're bringing all 4 of these items to you today with a request for approval. However, as Dr. Murphy mentioned, we do have representatives from each EPP to speak to any questions that you may have. So for this first item, Mississippi College is modifying their physical education course by bringing on an adaptive physical education course for special education. And this course is especially designed for students with disabilities, and it will be more narrowly focused for students with disabilities. And we find this is a great improvement and strength to the program. And as said, we recommend that the commission approve this.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve or take under consideration.
This one, I just got a question. This one just being added, it's not replacing or changing anything. It's just being added to their curriculum.
Exactly. They're adding this to their curriculum.
Okay. I motion we approve. David Martin, Brookhaven.
Susan McClellan, second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Dr. Melton?
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9. This is discussion and/or approval. Thank you, Dr. Washam. Of Mississippi State University's request to modify an existing K-8 computer science endorsement to a K-6 and 7-8 computer science endorsements. Those are to be added to the CTE guidelines as a pathway to obtain a supplemental endorsement. I'm just going to put a pin in that and let Dr. Burson explain the rest of that text. And I believe Donna Shea, I think I saw her on here. She's available for any questions on that as well.
Thank you, Dr. Melton. And if I may be so forward as to say, I'll be happy to move through with going through each of these items. And if it pleases the commission, again, I will let you know that we approve of each of the items that we're bringing to you and we're asking for the commission to approve. And if there's no discussion per item, possibly we could do the roll call at the end for all items. I don't know, Erin, if you can give us advisement on that.
No, we need to take the item separately.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this next item is from Mississippi State University, as said, and it has to do with their approved programs in computer science. Last May of 2019, the commission approved Mississippi State's approval for programs in computer science in K-6, 712, and also to their alternate route in secondary. And so as the MDE has made modifications with the computer science programs to add Cyber Foundations 1 and 2. Mississippi State has made modifications to their program, working with the MDE as well as the RCU. So this first request is for their guidelines for K-6 to be in computer science to lead to supplemental endorsements in Cyber Foundations 1 and 2, which will be licensure code 933. We want to ensure that the candidates that are licensed and teachers that are placed in the field are assigned correctly in MSIS. And so all of this leads to that. And their second request is looking at their 712 endorsement, and that would lead to teachers being certified for the Cyber Foundations 1 and 2, which is licensure code 933, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math STEM, licensure code 983, and Exploring Computer Science licensure code to be determined once that comes about. And their third request on computer science, as mentioned, is their Master's of Arts in Teaching Secondary. The computer science route was approved in 2019. And again, just as the 712 endorsement would lead to Cyber Foundations 1 and 2, STEM, and Exploring Computer Science, they're requesting the same for their Master's of Arts in Teaching Secondary. Are there any questions or discussion? As Dr. Melton said, Dr. Shea is on the line.
Commission members, do you have any questions?
I have a question as an elementary teacher. I know at elementary school we are now calling that STEAM with
I'm
the
so
art
sorry.
component.
Can you identify yourself?
In the secondary world, I'm sorry. This is Lisa Guys in Biloxi, Mississippi. In the elementary world, we are now calling STEM STEAM because we have an art component now. Is that not part of the secondary? Is there a reason why art is not also a part of that and it's just the science, technology, engineering, and math?
And I understand what you're asking, and I cannot provide an answer to that for secondary. I know that this request that Mississippi State is making for their K-6 endorsement is for Cyber Foundations 1 and 2. It's not that STEM component, right. And I'm not sure why CTE has not addressed that as STEAM, But that's a question that I could ask for them and get you some information on.
I was just wondering, I just stood out to me.
I understand.
How we were addressing it in elementary. So.
Right.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve or to take this motion under advisement. Please identify yourself and your motion.
David Martin, motion to approve. Brookhaven.
Thank you, David. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Etta Taplin, Ruth, second.
Thank you, Etta. Is there any discussion from our commission members? Okay, all of those in favor, please say aye as you unmute yourself.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Okay, from what I could hear, that motion carries. Erin, is that working okay?
Yes.
Thanks. All right, our next item on the agenda is number 10. It's the discussion and or approval for Mississippi State University to modify an existing secondary ed program. Dr. Burson, Dr. Shea is here also to answer any questions.
Yes, and again, this is a modification to their existing secondary ed program. Mississippi State is requesting to delete two courses, EDS 3411 and EDF 4243. And these two courses, the first one is let me find my notes here, Principles of Secondary and add Principles of Secondary Education 3413. And they're revising their evaluation course, their assessment course, to be evaluation of learning in the secondary schools. And so as we look at the deletion of those two courses and the one course that they are adding, this is going to allow them to have more opportunities for candidates to be in the field. They're going to be spending half of their time in instruction in the classroom, and the other half they're going to be out in clinical experiences. And then in their evaluation of learning in the secondary schools, they're changing or deleting that first course, which was EPY 3253, which focused primarily on developing assessments, whereas this new course, evaluation of learning in secondary schools, will require candidates to use data to really drive instruction. And we were very impressed with that course development and hope to use it as we begin to look at all courses that institutions use that is required by all programs for data analysis and evaluation. Again, we bring this to you asking for your approval.
Any questions from commission members? Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve or to take this motion under advisement. Please identify yourself.
Susan McClellan, so moved to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
William Hamilton, second. Yeah.
Thank you, William. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, at this time, we'll take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, any who oppose? Okay, this motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shea. Appreciate your work on these items. That brings us to item number 11. This is discussion and or approval for the Mississippi University for Women. They have a request to implement a new music ed program for instrumental music, and that's licensure code 165. I believe it's Dr. Julia Mordikova. I probably messed that up. Sorry. Dr. Burson?
Yes, I think that I got a phonetic pronunciation, so I think you were very close. Morchakova, I think, but I could be wrong too.
That
So
sounds
anyway,
good.
we do have somebody here from the W if you have questions, but this is a new program that the W is requesting, and Lemuel Eubanks, who is the MDE Director of Arts, has found approval with this. The W's music program is accredited by NASM, the National Association of Schools of Music. And currently the W has a Bachelor of Arts in Education for choral music. So at this time, they're just asking to bring the new program for instrumental music. And as stated, we're bringing this to you and asking approval.
Questions from commission members? Okay, since there are no questions at this time, I would be happy to entertain a motion to approve or to take this motion under advisement.
Motion to approve, Etta Taplin.
Thank you, Etta. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, David Martin.
Thank you, David. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from commission members? Okay, at this time, we'll take a vote. Please remember to unmute. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone who opposes? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, Julia from the W. Item number 12, we have the discussion and or approval of some ratifications for agreed orders and some voluntary surrenders. Brian McGarity, thank you for helping us out, Brian.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see you all again and hear from some of you. I truly miss being in the same room with you guys, and I hope we can get back to some kind of normalcy very soon. I just have two today to present, so I'll begin with my script. My name is Brian McGarity, and I serve as the Director of Educator Misconduct at the Mississippi Department of Education. There are two agreed orders I would like to present for your consideration today. Connie Johnson, license number 202776, has executed an agreed order admitting she violated Standard 10 of the Mississippi Educator Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct adopted by the Mississippi State Board of Education, and such action constitutes grounds for suspension, revocation of a teacher or administrator license pursuant to Mississippi Code 373212F. Respondent's license shall be placed on probation for 1 year from the date the commission ratifies this agreed order. Any violations of state and or federal law and or the Mississippi Educator Ethics and result in the immediate suspension of the respondent's educator license number 202776 for a period of 1 year. If the respondent's license is suspended due to failure to comply with the above conditions of her probation, the respondent may petition for reinstatement of the respondent's educator license following conclusion of the suspension period. Such reinstatement petition shall be in accordance with Mississippi Code 373214A and the rules of procedure governing disciplinary proceedings of the commission. The commission in its discretion may reinstate the respondent's educator license only by a majority of all members of the commission present at the meeting called for that purpose upon the respondent's satisfactory showing of evidence of rehabilitation. And number two is Robbie J. Smith, license number 190522, has executed an agreed order admitting that she violated Standard 10 of the Mississippi Educator Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct adopted by the Mississippi State Board of Education, and such action constitutes grounds for suspension, revocation of a teacher or administrator license pursuant to Mississippi Code 373212F. This respondent's license shall be placed on probation for 1 year from the date the commission ratifies this agreed order. Any violations of state and or federal law and or the Mississippi Educator Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct during the probationary period shall automatically result in the immediate suspension of the respondent's educator license number 190522 for a period of 1 year. If the respondent's license is suspended due to failure to comply with the above conditions of her probation, the respondent may petition for reinstatement of the respondent's educator license following the conclusion of the suspension period. Such reinstatement petition shall be in accordance with Mississippi Code 3732-14A and the rules of procedure governing disciplinary proceedings of the Commission. The Commission, in its discretion, may reinstate the respondent's educator license only by majority of all members of the Commission present at the meeting called for that purpose upon the respondent's satisfactory showing of evidence of rehabilitation. And this will conclude the list of agreed orders, and the Office of Educator Misconduct requests that the Commission ratify these agreed orders.
Brian, thank you so much for your work on getting these agreed orders in. I know it's been a challenging time. I would be happy to entertain a motion to approve or to take these under advisement. Please identify yourself.
David, motion to approve.
Thank you, David. There's a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second, Burnell Kelly.
I think, was that Burnell Kelly?
Yes.
Second, okay, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, at this time, we'll take a vote. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there anyone who opposes? Okay, this motion carries. Brian, while you have a captive audience, do you have any dates that you need to be filled for subcommittee members for hearings?
That is a great question. Sorry, I didn't have that information on hand right away. Give me just a second, I can tell you.
I'm just glad we were able to get a few hearings done over the past few months as things were shut down. You still, you and Tilla worked diligently to make sure that several of these hearings were able to be conducted. So thank you so much, the Office of Educator Misconduct, for your continued work on this.
Yeah, it was difficult, but again, we couldn't have done it without, the members there agreeable to come in or at least try to make themselves available for alternative dates in which they couldn't be here. Right now, Dr. Melton, I'm showing August the 12th. I don't have anyone signed up for that date. And then the next day after that would be September the 30th. I just need one individual for that day.
Are there any folks looking
I'll
at
do the September 30th. This is Etta.
Ms. Taplin for the 30th of September. Okay. Thank you for that.
I think we need some takers for August the 12th.
I can take August 12th, David.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David.
Anyone else who might be able to help with August the 12th?
I know that's right at the start of back to school in a COVID-19 world, but currently we only have one scheduled for that day. So it may be that
I'll do it, Brian. This is Etta. I had to check my schedule.
Okay.
Brian, I can help with that one.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Melton, Ms. Taplin.
And you only needed one for September the 30th?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're good on those 2 dates now, right?
That carries us out. The next available is October the 28th, but we can get into that quarter because it may look completely different, and fortunately or unfortunately, in the next few months. So we can just kind of wait till maybe early August to check back on that.
Okay. Any other questions for Brian and his team while they're here?
Hey, Brian, this is Mary Schuler. I was just checking. Do you have me for September the 30th?
I do not.
Okay, just double checking.
Okay. September the 30th is Dr. McClellan and Miss Lisa Geis. And now Miss Taplin.
Okay. Anything you need us for, Brian?
Thank you.
We good?
Thank you.
Okay, that will take us to item number 13, other business. Could I ask about thoughts on the commission retreat? I think it had been scheduled originally for September the 10th. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for September the 11th.
Yeah, so I'm still open
Good
to hosting
question,
that. Yeah.
Wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do it virtually. It's your retreat, so you tell me and we'll prepare. continue to pray accordingly.
Another thought I think that Kenny and I discussed, I know Corey just left. For those of you who weren't on the call earlier, Corey Welch has apparently moved to Texas. He ditched us. So we have a spot there, and I think we have at least 2 more rotations off at the end of this year. So thoughts on going ahead and having a retreat or waiting to bring in new members, maybe just something to toss around for right now too.
Yeah.
Commission members, any questions, discussions, or thoughts on anything before we head to our last item on the agenda? Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for September the 11th, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Double check, triple check me on that one. And we'll just see about a virtual or a face-to-face conference. I'm sure some information will be sent out before that time. Item number 14 is such a lovely item. It is the adjournment. At this time, I would be happy to entertain a motion to approve, and we're not even going to offer taking that under advisement.
Motion to approve, David.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
Second, Mary Hill Schuler.
I will pick any one of you. I think that was Mary Hill. A motion, a second, discussion. Moving on, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone who's opposed to that motion? That motion carries. Thank you all for your attendance and your help, especially with these items for our EPPs. I know they all appreciate your help. Dr. Murphy, Dr. Burson, thank you so much. Brian, thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe, everybody.
Have a great day.
Thank
You too. Thanks.